Hello! Welcome to today's wacky adventure in the world of sleeves. This is going to be sleeve-tastic magic, I promise you. At least that's what I've decided to introduce this video as. What it is I am going to take a sleeve pattern, your basic sleeve pattern, your boring sleeve pattern, your regular sleeve pattern, and turn it into something else, maybe something more voluminous, or maybe some great fabric choices. I really want to experiment with sleeves. So I found this pattern, the McCall's peasant blouse pattern, and I took the sleeve right out of there because it's very simple. I'm wearing it right now. It has your basic sleeve. This version is too big for me. Another video, I might have to downsize this one. But I plan on trying out a leg of mutton sleeve or maybe a bishop sleeve. And also, I'm going to experiment a bit with the bodice as well. So this video is all about experimentation, and depending on how long it gets, this might be a several part sleeve series. So if you're interested in that, come on in, I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Thanks. Overall, I think this pattern is going to work really well, and I'll show you why. I've actually made a wacky sleeve shirt with this pattern before. Hang on one sec and I'll show you. All right, so this is it. This I made quite some time ago when I was first learning to sew with some scraps that I had. So you can see the peasant blouse yoke and the shoulders are basically from the pattern, and that is all that I used. And what I did after that is I just added this see-through, actually really pretty gold and pink sheer fabric, and I just cut it up. I didn't use a pattern at all. I just said, hey, a square for the sleeves, a couple of squares for the bodice, and then I added these cuffs at the bottom. Now, while this worked back in my fun days, there are little issues with it. First off, I would like to have put some elastic in here so that I can, so that they don't fall down. And I could possibly do that still. Another problem is that it is so see-through that I have to wear a shirt under it. But you can see the sleeves look a little bit silly. But that is my idea of what to do with this pattern. Let me show you the fabric. Okay, I actually have it right over here. Hang on. So for the leg of mutton variety, I chose this gauze rose pattern. I actually didn't know what to do with this. I was gonna make a dress, but I felt like it's there's way too much boldness to this, so I thought maybe I should do a top which I can wear with a simple skirt or jeans even. So that's what I'm gonna do for my leg of mutton sleeves. It has a lot of body, so I think that they will puff pretty well, and then it'll be interesting to see how they slim down to the end of the wrist. And I have another idea for that as well. I have this ribbed, you know, something you would put on a bomber jacket, this ribbed cuffs, and I just might try that out for the cuff to see how that looks. I'm not quite sure yet. So that's gonna be leg of mutton. And then for the bishop sleeves, I reached into my mystery stash again and found this. This is sheer fabric. I got it in one of those mystery boxes that was super cheap, and I think this is going to be so much fun with a bishop sleeve because historically the sleeves themselves were up to 2 yards a piece. Doesn't that sound fun? I'm not going to go for like something historical. I really want to make something I can wear to work, so I'm not going to get that creative like this. I can't wear this to work, but I'm going to make a good attempt to have a lot of fun with this. And for the bodice itself, I have this is silk, believe it or not. This is like, I bought this a long time ago. So I'm mixing silk and polyester. I can't believe it, but at least they're both woven. The silk though has a little blue in it. And that's, I think it's called slubbed silk. And that's why I think it might make a good match, or it's just gonna look like total vomit. If you guys wanna see, you'll have to stick around to the second half of the video because this one is going last. All right, so let's go ahead and get some pattern alterations started, okay? This is the original sleeve pattern. The first thing I wanted to do is try to figure out where I want my Lego lamb to start and where I want the sleeve to end. I think I did it just about under the elbow, so that bottom half is going to be the tighter sleeve, and that top half of the original sleeve pattern I am going to transform into my new pattern for my new sleeve. So the way I did this is that I just used my cutting board, and every inch there you can see on the pattern on the board I marked with pencil, and then my intention is to just go straight across the sleeve and cut every single inch line up to the tippy top of the sleeve so that I can slash it and spread it open to make my new sleeve pattern. So if you guys are familiar, this is called the slash and spread method, and it is what most people seem to use when they are altering sleeve patterns. I have used it before and it's worked pretty well, so hopefully it'll work this time. So now, after I have all these octopus tendrils cut, I had to spend some time straightening them out. You want to try to get the same distance between the lengths that you cut out, and I sort of did that, and then I sort of did it some more, so hopefully it'll work out. There, I'm almost there. And the next step is just to take a pencil and mark each of those tendrils, the top and the bottom, and I think I have to add some paper because I got a little too long, but I went ahead and did that. So there's your new curve. I'm not sure what that is. This is gonna be interesting. Let me cut it out so we can see what it looks like. So here is the new leg of mutton sleeve pattern. That's ginormous if you compare it to the old one. So this is how the sleeve pattern started, and this is how it looks now. So you can see I've added a mega amount of volume to this sleeve. So hopefully I'm doing this right. This is just an experiment, but it seems like I'm doing the right thing. So the next part is I have to remember to add seam allowance. And if you guys are wondering what tracing paper I use, this is actually medical exam paper. You can find it really cheap on Amazon, and it works really well because it's very see-through. So that's the top, this is the bottom, and now I am going to go ahead and look at that bodice. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna size down to, I cut an XXL in the other patterns I made, and this time I'm just gonna try an XL. One thing I realized though is cutting out the sleeve pattern, I did this in an XXL thinking it wouldn't matter, but now I think it might, because that sleeve head is exactly the same and it has to fit into the sleeve, right? Into the bodice. But I don't feel like redoing it. I might redo it for the bishop sleeve, which is next, maybe. But I think it should work out, right? Hopefully. All right, let's see. Here's what the finish, it looks like finish cutting it out. So this is the front with the front yoke, the back with the back yoke. This down here is a trim and you put on with the hem. That is my dog, Jordan. And those up there, that's the sleeve. And you see how that sleeve has to fit in right here. That's what, this is a XL and this is an XXL. Not sure how that's going to work out, but the next step is to sew it all together. This is not bad so far. I'm sort of in love with this material. This might be one of my favorite peasant blouse shirts yet. I even think it works without sleeves, but my next step is to put on those sleeves to see if I can really transform this pattern. One thing I noticed is for some reason, it's really long. Like my other versions of this shirt, they weren't so long. And I also have a lot of material left. So that got me thinking I could potentially add on a layer and make this a dress. It's super easy to put over my head, and I just love those kind of really comfortable soft dresses. And this fabric isn't too heavy, so it really doesn't have a lot of bulk to it. I'm sort of liking that idea. So I'm gonna play around with that and stay tuned to see if I choose to do that or not. Thanks. Whew. This sleeve has a very long hem. Next step is to see where it falls. Looks like just below the elbow. And it's pretty flat. I don't think it's gonna have as much poof as I expected because this fabric is just too lightweight, but that might be okay. Or I'll put in like a little sleeve head at the top of the sleeve to really help it out some more. Otherwise, all I have to do is decide what kind of sleeve bottom I want and then if I should put on a skirt or not. Okay, that's next. You know what I was just thinking about? If you like what you sew, you don't have to be self-conscious about it. I like this. I think the sleeve alterations are going to work really well. And I'm not going to be embarrassed about maybe doing a good job for a change. Sure, I can make fun of myself. That's much easier. But I'm kind of proud of this one. So I started using a zigzag stitch instead of my serger, mostly because I can't rethread my serger, but I found that I actually am starting to like the zigzag stitch better. You don't have to switch machines and it's much easier to match the thread. The top is done. I went for the cuffs for the sleeves and I think I am gonna turn it into a dress. I just put this bottom part on to see how it's gonna look. And I think it's gonna look a lot of fun. So I'll try it on later. Almost done. So I split the remaining fabric in two. I am gonna use all of it. So this is gonna turn into almost a no waste project, which is awesome. So I'm just gonna cut each part. There's about 25 inches on each side. So my dress will now be, my shirt will be 25 inches longer and it will be a dress. So this is gonna be awesome. So when you gather something, there's different kinds of ratios. You want to either have 1.5 times your initial garment or bigger, right? So that makes the gathering really nice. And I happen to have 2 times the length of where my shirt stops. So I think the bottom of the shirt, now the skirt, is going to look really cool with all of this gathering. So let's see if I'm right. This is all that I have left of my fabric. Not exactly a no waste project. There's quite a bit left here, but I am definitely gonna save these scraps and put them in my scrap box for something else later down the road. So pretty good. I think I made a Laura Ashley dress. I didn't expect to turn this peasant blouse pattern into a dress, but I love it. I feel so fancy. And you can see that the sleeves are completely changed from the original, so I'm very happy with that. I also love that I put on a skirt. And turned it into a dress. I just think this has escalated this pattern into something I could actually wear to a formal event. So since I spent so much time converting this pattern into a dress, I didn't have enough time to finish or even start the other peasant blouse. And after this experience, I really want to be a bit more thoughtful. Maybe I'll create something much more interesting than I had in mind. If you'd like to see that version, you'll have to stay tuned for part 2 of the sleeve-tastic journey with me.